Hello, Spawn and Spawnettes. My name is AzelTheDemon, and this is Final Fantasy XIV. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the Dark Knight, the Dark Knight's abilities, and their cross-class abilities, and where I have found a lot of success and what my thoughts are about the job as a whole. So, first over, let's go over the Dark Knight's abilities. Starting off, we don't have actions as a Dark Knight, we only have job abilities because Dark Knight does not have a base class. We only have our job, and that is it. So, Shadow Skin is your basic defensive cooldown, not a super big deal. Scourge is going to be your bread and butter for your dots. You will always want to have Scourge up unless the enemy is going to be dying here just very, very shortly, because it is a 30-second dot. If you think the enemy is going to be dying sometime in the next 30 seconds, or even the next 15 seconds, I wouldn't worry about Scourge. Unleash is the first AoE aggro generator that you get. It's not bad. It's not great. It's definitely not bad, though. It is untargeted, so that you can just use it. It's an AoE around yourself, and that's great for just grabbing aggro whenever you need it. Next, we have Low Blow. Low Blow is a stun, and just like with every other stun in the game, when you stun an enemy and then you repetitively stun them, it builds up resistance. So if you need your stun for a specific ability in a boss fight, don't work it into your rotation, just save it for that moment. I do have it in my main rotation, which I will be sharing later in the video, just kind of as damage mitigation. That's what stuns work as for tanking. You want to have the stun up as often as possible. It mitigates the damage, and it just generally is better. Unmend is your long-range, targeted enmity generation. It also has a chance that the next Unleash will cost no MP, which just ends up being free damage. Always nice. Blood Weapon is your DPS stance, basically. Because as a Dark Knight, you do have Dark Side, but Dark Side should be up all the time, so I wouldn't call Dark Side your DPS stance, because Dark Side should just be up all the time, even if you're tanking or DPSing. So I would call Blood Weapon your DPS stance. Reprisal lowers the damage dealt by the target by 10%, but you do need to parry first. So that is dependent upon your parry stat. Next, we do have Dark Side, which is the damage buffing skill of the Dark Knight. It mitigates a lot of the damage loss caused by Grit, which is our tank stance. And again, here is Grit. Reduces the damage received by 20%, so it makes it easier on your healers. Also lowers the damage you deal, so that makes aggro generation a little bit harder, but you should be mitigating that with Dark Side. And then increases your chance to hit by 5%. That's always nice. Increases your enmity. Bread and butter for tank goodness. Dark Dance increases your parry rate by 30%. This is, just for how I tank, this is the last defensive cooldown that I use. I either just have had very, very good luck, or parries proc often enough that I haven't needed to use Dark Dance to proc Reprisal. I haven't needed to use that to count on my Reprisal at all, and that's been very nice. Blood Price restores MP whenever you take damage. So if you have a bunch of enemies around you and you need to regenerate some MP, use Blood Price. It's pretty awesome. Dark Passenger. This ability, I used to have a love-hate relationship with it. Now I just have a love relationship with it. I've worked it into my personal rotation with tanking. It's a free 150, well, not free, but it's an off-the-global cooldown 150 damage attack. And that's pretty awesome. I don't personally use it with Dark Side very often, just because I'm using my Dark Sides for more important things like your Carven Spit or powering up your Soul Eaters. My personal opinion. Dark Mind reduces magic vulnerability by 15%. If you use it with Dark Arts, increases that to 30%. Dark Arts is the ability that you will trigger whenever you want to power up a lot of your different abilities. Shadow Wall is a better Shadow Skin. It's just better damage mitigation. That's always nice. Delirium. Delirium is your highest potency combo attack. It also reduces a target's intelligence by 10%. This does not overwrite a monk's dragon kick, so if you do have a monk in your group, don't expect to be seeing a lot of your delirium effect up on the boss, because Dragon Kick will overwrite your delirium. So don't worry about keeping delirium up if you have a monk, but you will want to be using delirium for damage ability. If you're not using your powered up Soul Eater, you will be using delirium for your damage rotation. Living Dead. This ability gets a lot of crap for being far too complicated for what it's trying to do. From what I can tell, it's like a Warriors home gang, but better? I think. I'm not sure. I haven't had to use Living Dead a lot. I've been very lucky. I've had very good healers. I haven't died to the point where I need Living Dead. So let me just try and explain Living Dead as best as I can. When you feel like you are going to be dying soon, put Living Dead on yourself. Then, if you die in the 10 seconds that Living Dead is active, instead of dying, you will be replaced with the Walking Dead status. While under Walking Dead, you need to be healed for a total HP amount equal to your maximum HP. That does not mean that you need to be topped off, it just means that in those 10 seconds you need to receive, for instance, my maximum HP is 13,903. So that means that if I die during Living Dead, I will be replaced with Walking Dead, and in those 10 seconds that Walking Dead is active, I need to be healed for 13,903 points of healing. Otherwise, you will die at the end of the Walking Dead duration. That's how Living Dead works. Salted Earth is just a great placeable AoE. I always use it whenever I can. I never have it waiting. I always use Salted Earth as soon as I can. Plunge is, from my experience, a great ability for boss fights or for just soloing. I don't use it in dungeons for pulls because by the time your plunge lands, the rest of your team has started doing damage as well, and plunge has a very long animation lock. You can't do any other actions while you're plunging, and in that time, from what I've seen, I lose a lot of aggro, and that just makes it more difficult to tank, and it becomes a problem. Abyssal Drain is a better Unleash, because it does cost a little more MP, but the enmity generation is the same as Unleash, and the potency per MP is the same, but Abyssal Drain does more damage, so you're going to be getting a little bit more aggro from Abyssal Drain, and if you have Dark Arts active when you use Abyssal Drain, you will get all of the HP that Abyssal Drain does, and that can be a huge lifesaver and a huge help in dungeons. Soul Survivor is a great ability to use when you are in the middle of a giant ad phase and you're starting to run low on mana from all of your Abyssal Drains or your Dark Arts, all of that stuff. You'll just throw Soul Survivor on an enemy. When that enemy goes down, you will be restored for 20% of your HP and MP, of your maximum there. And that's just fantastic. Carve and Spit, one of my favorite abilities for my damage rotation. I don't personally use Carve and Spit for its MP regeneration because I don't feel like the MP regeneration is worth it when compared to the 450 potency attack that Carve and Spit is. So, in my opinion, don't ever use an unpowered Carve and Spit. It is a 60-second recast. If you are using your mana regeneration abilities properly, you should be able to regenerate enough in those 60 seconds to be able to use a Dark Arts powered Carve and Spit every time it's available, from my experience. Alright, cross-class abilities. I have a different view of cross-class abilities than a lot of the other tanks I've seen. This is what works for me. Again, something else might work for your playstyle or what you're trying to do with your Dark Knight. So, I use Provoke. there are a lot of mechanics built into Final Fantasy when you are tanking that you will just need to switch tanking with your off tank, or if you're the main tank, you just need to grab the boss for a minute. You need to have Provoke available. That's just a requirement. Convalescence. I really enjoy the idea of Convalescence. I don't personally end up using it very often. With my defensive cooldowns and with Bloodbath, I have enough MP regeneration, or not MP, HP regeneration on my own that I don't need the healers to have that extra 20% boost. If the fight's going, like, decently, not like fantastically, because then you just don't need Convalescence, and not super poorly, because then Convalescence isn't going to make a huge amount of difference. But if it's just going okay, I'll use Convalescence to make it a little bit easier on my healers, because then they can just kind of top me off and they can DPS more, and it works out better. But I don't use Convalescence a lot, unless, I guess, just the situation's right. Bloodbath, 20% of physical damage dealt into HP, just great little self-sustaining goodness. An extra defensive cooldown is never a problem. That's why I enjoy Foresight. Now here is where my personal opinion differs from that of a lot of Dark Knights. I will take Fracture instead of Mercy Stroke. From where I'm looking, I feel like Fracture is a more powerful skill than Mercy Stroke. Mercy Stroke has a 90-second cooldown. Fracture lasts for 18 seconds. That is 5 fractures for every 1 Mercy Stroke. Because they are both the same potency, since you can get 5 fractures in for every 1 Mercy Stroke, it seems like to me that Fracture is 5 times more powerful. I see a lot of people disagreeing. From where I'm looking, it's just a simple matter of math. Absolutely, please tell me if I'm wrong in the comments below. I would love to be able to see from somebody else's perspective why Mercy Stroke is better than Fracture, because I'm not seeing it from where I'm at. Alright, so the next thing I want to talk about is a Dark Knight's stats and how they work with each other and how they work with the class, specifically with Dark Knight. Different classes of tanks need different stats. So, Strength, it's going to affect your damage, it's going to make holding aggro a little bit better, and it's generally going to make your fights easier. Vitality, you're a tank, you need to have a high HP pool so that you can survive those giant hits from all the different bosses and everything like that. So get yourself to, from what I have seen and what I've heard, between 14 and 16,000 HP. I'm obviously a little bit low. I'm eye level 150 right now. I am trying to get that up. I'm grinding law right now, so we'll see where that ends up. Once you hit right around, I guess, 15,000 HP, you're going to want to start building strength as much as you can. Accuracy. If you're not hitting, you're not generating aggro. You need to have good accuracy. Once you get to the accuracy cap of whatever content it is you're doing, accuracy doesn't matter as much as, say, critical hit or determination, or for a Dark Knight, parry. Parry is an awesome stat for Dark Knights. It procs a lot of our effects, and it mitigates a lot of that damage that I see a lot of healers complaining about Dark Knights being squishy. If you have a high parry chance, then you're going to be able to mitigate a lot of that squishiness that people are complaining about, and generally bring up the reputation of the Dark Knight and do the class's service, which I really appreciate. Critical hits. If you can land a crit on, for say, your Soul Leader, that's just going to be more HP regeneration, and that's always a good thing. Determination increases the amount of damage you're doing. It does not increase the amount of healing you receive. I know that the tooltip here looks like that's what it says, but that is not what Determination does. Determination does not increase incoming heals. Determination only increases outgoing heals if you are, for instance, a White Mage or a Scholar or an Astrologian. It's going to increase the amount of healing you're doing. It does not increase the amount of healing you receive as a tank. So let's see. Attack power is generally pretty nice. Skill speed, I don't see a lot of usefulness in Dark Knights, as much as being able to hit faster and get more aggro is good. In longer fights, I see Dark Knights having some TP issues, and skill speed is only going to make that worse. So I think that's everything I have to say as far as our stats and our abilities go. Next up is going to be rotations and some of the skill synergies that I have seen with Dark Knight. Alright, so your Dark Knight tanking rotation is going to be Unmend, Plunge, Scourge, Salt the Earth, Fracture, Low Blow, Hard Slash, Dark Arts and Carven Spit, Spinning Slash, Dark Passenger, Power Slash, moving into your Delirium combos and maintaining your dots. Once you finish your main tank combo, you're going to start alternating between Delirium and Powered Soul Eater combos to maintain your health as well as maintaining your mana. Once you've established aggro and enmity with this opener, and then you're maintaining your mana and your health using the alternate Delirium and then Powered Soul Eater combos, you're just going to want to make sure that you are maintaining your dots. So that includes your Scourge, your Fracture, and your Salt the Earth. Salt the Earth is obviously on a 30-second cooldown, and it is off the global cooldown. So there is no reason you should ever have Salt the Earth missing. Scourge is a 30-second dot, and you will want to replace that right around 3 seconds left in its duration. The same goes with Fracture. When you're off tanking as a Dark Knight, the rotation you're going to be using is Unmend, Plunge, Scourge, Salt the Earth, Fracture, Low Blow, Hard Slash, Dark Arts and Carven Spit, Siphon Strike, Blood Weapon, Dark Arts and Soul Eater, Dark Passenger, and then you'll be rotating Powered Soul Eater combos and maintaining your dots for as long as Blood Weapon stays up. After Blood Weapon has ended, you'll want to make sure, just like with your tanking rotation, that you are maintaining your dots as well as using all of your DPS cooldowns. And by DPS cooldowns, I mean things like Low Blow, Dark Passenger, and Carven Spit, your big damage abilities, things like that. You want to make sure that you're using those as often as they're available, as well as maintaining your dots, so Scourge, Salt the Earth, and Fracture, and alternating between your Delirium combo and your powered up Soul Eater combo to make sure that you're maintaining your mana while you are off tanking. Alright, well I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you got lots of good, useful information in it. I know I enjoyed recording it, and I hope that together we can start bringing up the reputation of the Dark Knight class, and we can start getting into some awesome progression and seeing what we can do with our class and where we can be useful in Savage Alexander or whatever raids they end up bringing in the future. So, please, like, favorite, and subscribe if you guys enjoyed the show. I know I enjoyed sharing it with you guys. Share it if you can. I really appreciate it. And then, don't forget to check out the rest of the AzelTheDemon brand at Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. I've got all the links in the description below. And also, don't forget to check out the rest of my fellow Crucible team members. We have the website up at cruciblegamingnetwork.com, and we have the forums at cruciblegamingforums.forumocean.com. Have a great rest of your day, guys, and I will see you next time.